Hey guys, so today we're going to do a session with my mom. We're going to focus on the feet and on the lower trapezius to just help even out her shoulders and give her comfort in the neck. So you're going to stand on the mat and hopefully we're able to bring that comfort into your body too today. Standing on your mat facing forward, your hands are at your sides and you're going to take a few breaths. Go ahead and close your eyes. Inhaling deeply through the nose, sigh out the breath through your mouth. Just bring your awareness into your body and try and think about some tight areas of weakness. Set an intention for today where we're going to not only ground you but also help make you feel lighter, creating space in the ankles, in the hips, in the spine, and in your shoulders. Feel that earthing through all 10 toes. Feel the length in your body and your spine as your head feels light on your shoulders. And try and envision your shoulder girdle widening as if you're increasing your wingspan. Open your eyes and start to roll down vertebra by vertebra, tucking in your chin. We're curling the spine. Now leave your hips forward and soften in the knees. Forward. Relax your arms now so that they hang loose. And tuck in your chin so that you're nodding your chin towards your chest but not pressing it onto your chest. Everyone can lean forward a little more, taking your body weight all the way forward over your toes. It's quite a fearful experience, but you're going to use your glutes and your tummy to hold you there. Chin in. And then fold your arms, grabbing hold of your elbows. So you're going to fold your arms and hold onto those elbows. We want to nestle the head in between your biceps. And so you've weighted yourself even further forward. Squeeze your glutes, wrapping the glutes together. And then rotate your torso over your right foot. Good, chin in. Leave the left hip pulling back. And then rotate your torso over the left foot, keeping your hips still. Forward, chin in. Allow your arms to find length down towards the floor. Heavy head, heavy arms. Come back to center. So in the middle, tuck in your chin, squeeze your glutes, and roll yourself back up to standing. All the way up, eyes forward. We go again. You can tuck in your chin and roll down.
Like this?
Yes. Keep your chin in, leaning forward for me. Yes, nice soft knees, everyone. Heavy in the head. Pause at the bottom. Rotate over your left foot.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm checking you, testing you, your right and your left. And then rotate over the right foot. Chin in. Find me some length in the back of the neck. Come back to center. Big breath in. And roll yourself, tucking in the chin, tucking the tail. Up to standing. Well done. You can relax your arms at your sides. So with the softness in your knees in this upright posture, we're going to just try and create awareness of what good posture is. So you're standing on your mat, your hands are at your sides now. I'd like you to press your hands into the sides of your thighs and try and reach your arms a little longer. In doing so, you also need to lift your head up off your shoulders. And you might feel this awareness of a forward shoulder because I've asked you to compress your hands and your elbows into your sides. So if you think about the soft part of the elbow, over here, I would like you to rotate the elbow so that you've got little hubcaps out to the side, and then straighten the arm down your side while still pressing your wrist and your palm into the side body. Feel how forward the shoulder is. Pull it back into its socket. That's a slurping action where you're actually trying to pull it back and set the scapula, which is another word for your shoulder blade, on your spine. So keep compressing the hands into your sides, the elbows soft part, turn in, the shoulders pull back, and you keep light in your head. Breathe in through your nose, maintain that posture, soften your knees. Pull the sternum down, but keep the shoulders back. Feel how hard it is to actually be in that position with all these a million little cues I've given. In pressing your hands into your sides, you might actually feel some stretching across the collarbones. So it's good to be in this anatomical position, bending the knees slightly so that you're not hyperextending, but it mustn't look like they're bent to everybody else. Only on your inside do you feel like they're a bit soft. Good, and then relax completely. You're going to take your right foot slightly behind you and push the toes into the ground. That's correct. You're stretching the top of your foot. Try and curl the toes under and even press the foot into the ground to stretch. I'll help you. If you feel like you're going to lose your balance here, it's worthwhile going to the wall and just doing the stretch. It's a unusual movement, something that you're not going to just do accidentally unless you spend a lot of time gardening or on your knees on the floor, because then you stretch your foot while you're on your shins. But it's a movement we need more. And so you might be surprised at how uncomfortable it is. And then we change legs. Tucking the toes under. Yes. Still be aware of that posture, that shoulders back, the hands at your sides, just the awareness of how hard it is to actually maintain anatomical positioning. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, being patient in the stretch. Two more breaths. And then relax. Step forward on your mat so that you have space behind you. So come forward. Further forward, Mum. That's it. And we're going to step your right foot back behind, pushing your heel into the ground. Now aim your toes forward. Your hands can be on your hips, that's fine, or out to the sides if you need a little bit of balance. But you're pressing that heel into the floor. Now you can tuck your tail so that you're not hyperextending in your spine. Just make sure your abs are drawn in. And you can also put the foot further back if you're looking for more of a stretch. But be careful that the toes want to turn out. You need to keep the toes facing forward and the heel perfectly in line. If balance is an issue and you've moved to the wall for the previous stretch, you can keep holding onto the wall. Pressing the heel down. Notice how the arch of the foot wants to roll in. Keep trying to create a neutral foot, and be careful of leaning too far back. Lean forward so that there's not as much pressure on your low back. You can feel that. So we're trying to stretch the calf but not sacrifice your back. And then you'll come up for me and change to the other foot, taking the left foot back behind you, challenging your balance here. Pushing the heel into the ground, drawing in the lower abdominals, and pressing that heel slightly out so that you actually straight. Sometimes you feel you straight, and then be careful that you don't lean back into it, because it's not worth jamming here. Good, you're also going to get a hip flexor stretch on the front. Feel that? Yeah. Two breaths here, shoulders back, head light on top of your shoulders, abs in, and come back up. Great, fantastic. We'll take the right foot back again, but this time you bend your knee. So take your right foot back, and so you have a softness in the knee, and your toes are still facing forward. Now you'll realize that the stretch has changed. It's shifted down into the soleus over here. So it's not so much gastrocnemius, it's more soleus. Still, the rules apply. Please keep the foot aligned. protect the low back, shoulders back, upright posture, but you don't want to, there's sometimes a broken down telephone when it comes to posture, where everyone thinks like more is more, but it isn't. There has to be boundaries, and the correct alignment is more important than overdoing it. So I'd like you to think sternum down, shoulder in its joint, as opposed to arching from your low back. And then change to the other side. And fix your foot. Yeah. Sneaky cheats.
It doesn't feel like it's straight, no.
Doesn't feel like it's needed, but just assume, make a few assumptions that the heels snuck in. You know, the body's like water. It goes through the path of least resistance. So that's why I keep like reiterating, don't arch the back, that you need to check in with all these cues that I say, because often it's missed. You feel fine and you're lying skew. And then come up to standing. Good. We're going to sit down on the mat. Everyone's excited to get on the mat. And then you spin your feet around so that you're seated. Okay, and you can cross your ankles. Right, can you? Can you cross your knees a little more? Right, been a while since you've been on the floor in the preschool, eh? Okay, so lifting up your head off your shoulders, focus on finding length first, and then you're going to tilt your head over to one side. So it's important that you realize you're not turning the head, you're not dropping the chin, you're just tilting the head over to one side. Now you might feel a referral and a stretch down the neck. Okay, that neural discomfort is not what we're after. Okay, so if you're feeling a stretch down, we need to investigate as to why you're feeling a stretch down, compare it to the other side. It's a gentle stretch. We're not even pulling the shoulder down, we're not even yanking the head over, you're just doing a side bend and breathing. Let the breathing be the reason you're stretching over. So I'm doing this intentionally because there's some neurological discomfort down the side. And I believe it's from a tightness more than it is actually from the neck itself. So gentle stretching is okay. And then come back to center. And what we need more of is an opening of the chest. So you're going to take your hands now and place your hands on your sternum like this. You will pull down the sternum and lower the rib cage. The act of pushing down the chest stretches the muscles on the front of the neck. So if you can push your jaw forward slightly while pressing your hands down without your head moving forward. So you're just pressing like an underbite. Then you might get a little more out of the stretch. And then if you can lift your chin slightly up to the side, you're going to feel the stretch into the face. Can you feel that? But now breathing is important because it's not about trying to force the muscles into a stretch, it's about trying to coax them into a stretch. Especially if you've got some kind of a weird referral and we're not quite sure where it's coming from, you go slowly and consistently and reach out and touch base, because if not us, we can refer you to someone who knows what they're doing in this section of the body, and it's important to understand exactly why you're feeling what you're feeling. And then come back up and go over to the other side, lifting the jaw slightly. Keep pulling down the chest so that you are working into those accessory breathing muscles. Inhaling into your belly. And then side out, and 2 more. Good, 1 more. And then relax. Okay, you're going to take your arms out into a T for me. So the act of taking the arms out into the T is so that you can envision doing this translation movement. So for those of you who are uncomfortable seated cross-legged, you're welcome to do this in a chair. You're going to take your shoulder girdle over to the right hand side, but leave your hips behind. Then you take your shoulder girdle to the left hand side. And so we're going to translate the rib cage one side and then the other side. And there might be a difference between the two sides where you feel like you're either dipping down instead of translating across, or you move much more to one side than you do to the other. And that is so common because we aren't perfectly even. So you always use one side of your body more. It feels stronger, more capable, therefore you rely on it, therefore you train it more than the other side. So you'll have these imbalances that are naturally occurring, and we do want to try and highlight them so that you can then bridge the gap between the two sides. And so these translations are really good for your brain to see how the rib cage is separate to the pelvis. And two more. And then last one, and come back and place your hands on your knees. Good. And just try and focus on breathing into your tummy here. So you won't let the sternum lift up and down if possible. I want you to compress the chest down but breathe into your belly. Now the eye line needs to be forward, and you're going to inhale into your tummy and then side out. And I want to see the belly really rise. So you want to see that belly button distend forward and then come back in on an out. So it's inhale, the belly grows, and exhale, you draw it in again. 3 more. 2. And your last one. And then you're going to take your hands to the right hand side of your mat. So both hands are on the mat and you're looking to the right. So you turn your body. And so you're twisting in the spine, keeping the left bum bone down. Try to lift the head off the shoulders and rotate. Take 2 breaths here. And then we'll move over to the left hand side. And you lift up your heart and head and chest. But you want to keep space between the bones, so you don't want to have too many creases in your neck. You want to try and pull up your head off your shoulders. And last one. Great. Now you put your feet out in front of you. So you're like this. And you hold the back of your legs, because we don't necessarily need to keep challenging your core to sit upright, but we're going to work on your feet here. So spread all 10 toes and press them into the floor and try and connect the arch of your foot. The more you push the big toe, the more the arch connects. All toes are spread. Then you're going to lift your big toe off the ground, keeping the 4 small toes on the ground. And then lower the big toe and try and lift the 4 small toes without rolling in. Yes. And then come down with the 4 smalls and you lift the big. And then come down with the big and we lift the smalls. And so you toggle. And so the idea is, after 10 successful repetitions, you can check that box. So your neurology has improved. But if you're still making mistakes and you can't do 10 in a row, then this exercise needs to remain on your list of to-dos. And it feels different when you're seated versus in a chair, which you're welcome to do these exercises in a chair, or standing. It feels different. And so you can actually perform all of the exercises we've done so far in a chair. And then homework. Now you're going to lift your forefoot, both sides, up and down. And up and down. Now I'm shaking more than you. Maybe it's because I'm hyper-focused and I tap into the deep neurology. It's my story. Sticking to it. But that's because the tibialis anterior that is on my shins is very strong and tight. and needs to be trained to lengthen under more control. So you want to pull hard on this shin muscle and then keep it engaged and lower the feet against your own internal resistance and pull hard. And then, so that's going nice and slow. And if you're seated, you can also get it done, but you can alternate. So we can alternate the feet as well. And just trying to push into the ground when the foot goes down and try and lift. Now lift without the toes lifting towards you. You want to lift the forefoot. Tapping, 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 tapping. And pick up the pace. Sit up tall. And work those feet. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. Now you're going to turn one foot in, and you could do this seated. Look at this. You could do it seated in a chair, but you're going to try and massage between the toes, the bones of the foot, so you can get your knee up or sideways or whatever it takes, but get to the feet and massage along the bones of the foot, trying to separate the bones of your forefoot and get your thumb and finger in there and work your way up the foot. And then move to the next toe and work your way up the space between the bones. You can feel there's like a crease. You're feeling it?
Sensitive.
Yeah. And kind of like use your thumb to just clean off those bones. Like you melting away the tension in between the bones of the foot and make your way to the outside. Just digging in there and kind of cleaning it off. Painful? Good pain?
Nice.
She doesn't have a choice. And then your last one, and you can also go a little higher up here towards the ankle joint on that outside one. Digging, I'm not only digging on the top, I'm also digging on the bottom. Maybe your hands are getting a workout. All the way up. And then we do the other foot. Digging in between the big toe and the second. I think we might need to revisit this session again and again. Yeah, put it in your toolbox and like draw on this, do it. Yeah, like a spa treatment, she says. But at night while watching TV, there's a lot of body work that you can do. So maybe jot down the ones in the group classes or the online classes that suit you and revisit some of the stuff. So we work our way to the outside. Sorbet nice. Underside and top side. And then just that outside one, let's try get in there, mobilizing the joints, making those little tiny muscles that are between the bones feel freedom, space. Good, and so we're ready to move on. You're going to sit down facing the windows, please. And make sure you have enough space behind you. So come forward, bend your knees. And so you're on your mat and you're reaching your arms out in front of you. You're going to roll, let's go more forward please, sorry. But you're going to roll halfway down. So curling, 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 halfway down. Then take a breath in without falling down and exhale to come back up. I'm going to encourage you to close your thumbs. Hitchhiker's thumbs, yeah. And then lean back. The feet are slightly apart and you go halfway back. You feel that you have to scoop the tummy here. You don't want to bulge the tummy muscle. And then exhale to come back up. Inhale there. Exhale, you lean halfway back. Curling, 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 curling. Tuck your tail, inhale. and exhale, come up. Keep pushing your feet into the ground. We were doing those foot drills for a reason. Curl back, spread your toes, press the big toe down. Lean further back. Inhale and exhale. It's the only time I get to boss my mom around. And lean back. Tuck, 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 tuck. Suck in. Inhale. And exhale. Come on up. Breathing in there. We exhale to roll, 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 roll. Pause. Inhale. And come up. Last one. We're going to go all the way down. Curling. All the way down. Until you lie down with your hands over your head. So I want you to tuck in your chin in this position and reach your arms really long and feel how much space there is between the elbows and the ground, between the bones of the back and the ground. So I need you to keep pressing your feet into the floor, press your pelvis into the floor, press your spine into the floor, pull your rib cage down, open the shoulder girdle, drop the elbows, reach the straight arms, tuck in your chin. Phew. Push it all into the floor so that you find length and you feel where the tightness and the deficits are. Keep compressing the spine and the pelvis into the ground and then drag your elbows wide into a W position. So you're trying to press them into the floor as you pull them into a W. Fix the wrists, drop the wrists. Realize that there's this chest opening stretch happening here. And that because of the tightness in the chest, you might battle to get into your W position. That's okay. And then go back into your V. So push your arms back over your head, trying to scratch your wrists on the floor the whole time, trying to straighten your arms and extend your elbows. Let's try separate the hands. They don't need to touch, they're in a V. Reach them. Good. And then drag yourself back into W position. If you're wearing a really nice watch, you're not going to want to scratch the face of the watch. I'd recommend either turning it or taking it off. You're okay, we're on a carpet, but everybody else might be battling on the floor. Imprinting the spine into the mat, the rib cage is down, the wrists are touching. You see how hard that actually is? And then push back over into a V position, straightening your arms overhead, keeping the connection in your tummy. And drag back down into your W. Try touch the floor. Squash down this section of your wrist. Get that watch face, in inverted commas, on the ground. Back into a V.
Is it possible?
It's possible, but it gets harder as we get tighter and as we age. So it's natural to feel the difficulty. Come down into the W. And then back overhead. Use it or lose it, hey? How often are we going from V to W in life? Not very often. And then come back, last one, W. And then overhead into your V. You keep your feet pressed into the floor, but we're going to scooch them a little closer to your bottom so that your heels are about 1.5 lengths of your feet away from your bottom. Feet pressed into the ground, arms are straight. They're going to reach up towards the ceiling and your head lifts up. Lifting your head, lowering your hands. You come past your thighs. So you pull your hands past your thighs, reaching long, drawing up, using the abdominals, lifting head and chest, coming up, 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 up. And then inhale here, lifting your hands up, both of them, and take your hands past your ears, and then you lay down your spine. So we are using tummy muscles. On an exhale, you lift head and chest, coming up, pressing your hands past your hips, you keep crunching. Close the thumbs, lift your hands on an inhale until your hands go past your ears, and then you lay down. Exhale, lift, hands, head, chest, up, 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 crunching. Inhale, arms reach forward, and you lie down. Exhale, lift, head and chest and crunch. Inhale, hands go up, keep crunching, and then lie down. Last one, come on up. Keep the crunch in the shape of your spine, but put your hands behind your head. So interlace your fingers behind your head with bent elbows. You're pulling yourself up using your stomach, not your hands. Your head needs to press back into your hands. Lift your chin slightly, but keep crunching with your rib cage, pulling down towards your hips. Then rotate your chest to the right-hand side, keeping your feet anchored into the ground. Come back up into your chest lift, get me more height. Exhale, go left, keep your height. Keep this angle pulling here. Don't go over too far, mainly crunch up. Come back to center and exhale, crunch towards the outside of your right thigh. Come back to center. Be careful of the elbows creeping in. Come over to the left-hand side. It's the heart that's moving, not the elbows per se. Come back to center. Move your heart right. That sneaky left. Open it. Close the right elbow slightly. Close that right elbow. Yes. Come back to center. Go left. Be wary. That sneaky right one wants to make you feel more successful. Come back to center. Go to the right, but leave the left elbow open. Come back to center. Go to the left. Very nice. Come to center. Crunch the hardest that you can. Crunch. Place your hands behind your thighs. Pull yourself up even more. Not too much. So go back down a little bit, but stay there in that position. Suck in your tummy. Can you put your hands back behind your head? And then lie down. That's what I wanted. You're good, you're good. Take your arms into a T. You're going to keep your knees bent. So bend them back up, but your feet are on the floor. You close your knees together. Close your feet together. And then I want a T, not a V. So take your arms like a little bit lower and make sure they're in line with the shoulders. Now, can you feel that you can traction that arm out more? Can you dislocate the shoulders? And that's going to really help you with the space in the shoulders and the neck. So you're pressing and you're pressing and you're pressing those hands out wide. But then be critical, because you've probably over-rotated your elbow. Turn the elbow so that your hubcap, the knobbly bit of the elbow, is down into the ground. And then pull your hand palm up more without letting the elbow turn. So keep your hand on the ground, but you want to push your thumb, I'm leaning over, push your thumb into the floor and fix the elbow and don't let the thumb lift. And then realize that it's got your shoulder sitting forward. Pull your shoulder deep into its socket. Other side, the arm reaches long, the elbow turns, the shoulder goes down into the ground, and your neck is long and loose. And if you need a cushion under your head, you do so. And then you learn from this, and you always have the cushion available. Okay? So we're going to tuck in your chin and lengthen your spine and drop your chest into the floor. And then you'll really feel the need for that little cushion. Okay? We're squashing everything down, and that's more important than the movement that comes next, because I need the setup to feel correct and to be correct so that you stretch what needs to be stretched. Okay. On an inhale, you take your legs over to the right-hand side, pulling the knee with you. So the left knee mustn't slip and slide. It's got to go over. Now, I don't care how far over your knees get, actually. Don't go far. Do keep the shoulder girdle down, and then pull your body back for me. And inhale to go over to the left with the knees. Come. Let's slide that leg again. So you just want to slip that right thigh bone along the left thigh bone. It mustn't drop. Come back to center. Keep the knees stuck perfectly together. Over you go, attempting to lengthen the left leg longer. So don't go over so much, you're overshooting it. Let's take the kneecap to my palm. Yes. Do you feel the difference in the stretch in your body? So it's not about getting to the ground. Don't be fooled. That's not the objective of the exercise. The objective is to remain stable in the hips and to try and keep the kneecap stuck together, basically. Come back to center. Shoulders are still dislocating wide. Inhale, come over. This thigh has to touch my palm. So you can stop the video and have a look, but there's a sneaky tendency of the knee to creep towards your chest. You want the knee to press into my palm. And then come back and over you go. keep that knee against my palm. You see, every time a coconut. And you're all probably doing it at home, I know. Come back to center and over you go. Touch my hand with your knee. Come. Thanks. And then back. Keep that wingspan. Reaching, fix your elbows. 2 more. Over you go. And pull it back up. That was really good. You knew it was good. And over you go. Success. And come back. Well done. You're going to take your hands behind your head, interlacing your fingers. This time the elbows go up to the ceiling. So that's an unusual position to be in. I think what ends up happening is we all try and get into this perfect position for Pilates, and we think wide and open is the be all and end all. But your shoulder blades need to live on the rib cage wide. So pull the elbows forward and feel what it feels like when the elbows are pulled up to the ceiling. Your blades can now separate from your spine, and you can feel a little stretch across the upper back. Tucking in the chin, you're going to roll yourself into a normal chest lift like you would 100 times before. Come up into the chest lift, but the elbows remain forward. Breathe in here, and exhale, you come down. Inhale to prepare, and exhale to pull. Inhale to hold, and you may come down. Now, I think that might increase your tendency to pull on your neck, so please can you shove your head into your hands and imagine that you've got this ruler in your bra strap at the back of your body. If the ruler's plugged into either a heart rate belt or a bra, and your head is resting on it, when you come up to flexed with your face jutting forward, you're going to feel that you're not on the ruler anymore. If you can keep pressing your head back into that imaginary ruler, then your work will be in your abdominals and it won't be your neck picking you up. Last one there, and then come down. Now you'll grab hold of the mat corners with your hands. So you hold the corner of the mat with your hands and you press your head down into the floor for me. If we can close those elbows slightly so that your shoulder blades are as wide as they were in the previous exercise and your head is pressing into the mat, it's not allowed to lift off the mat. When you come up into your chest lift and you keep your head on your mat, you'll feel that you're using only your tummy. Come up into your chest lift, exhale. Keep pressing your noggin back into your own mat. Feel the width in the shoulder blades. Inhale and exhale to come back down. Let's open your feet a little bit more. Yeah, and then exhale to come up into your chest lift. Press your head into your mat, open the shoulder blades, and exhale to come back down. We go again. You do not need to lower your mat each time. You keep your mat pulled around your head like a little hood and lay back down the noggin. And exhale, lift up. The arms are going to get a bit of a workout too. Can you feel that? And then you lower yourself back down. We've got 2 more. And exhale, come back up. Head remains pressing back. Inhale. And exhale, lie down. And then last one, you come up and all the way back down. Well done. We're going to get you onto your hands and your knees. So roll over onto your side and then move onto hands and knees. Okay, kneeling on the mat. Hands are going to live underneath the shoulders, and then your knees live under your bottom. Okay, you're going to rock your bum forward, please, and stay there in 4-point kneeling. You lift your chest a little bit so that you don't have so much roundness in your upper back, but some of us will have not enough, so we do need to run through exactly what I consider neutral. Let's start at the hips. The pelvis lives above the knees, so not forward of them and not backwards of them. You do need to stick out your tailbone so that you don't have your tail too tucked. Tuck your tail and show me what I don't want. I don't need this big roundness. I need you to stick out your bum so there's a little dent. Then if you close your rib cage, drawing in your tummy muscles, you're going to get this natural curve, which is great. We want the curve to be pulled in from the ribs being down, not necessarily from how hard you're pushing into the ground up at the neck here. So start down by the rib cage. If you've anchored the rib cage down, we now can actually reduce the amount of curvature in your upper back by sticking out your collarbones forward. So imagining that you're pushing your heart through your arms, but not by letting go the ribs. So you're still connected in the ribs, but you're sticking out your heart. Now the neck needs to be chin in, gazing down at your fingertips, so that there are no creases in your neck. You want to have this long feeling along the spine. And if you can create that spring-like tension along all the curves of your spine, you're going to even out most of the curves. All right, keeping your hands pressed down into the ground, keeping your shins pressed down into the ground. You're just going to touch your left shoulder with your right hand without moving anything else about you. So the right hand touches the left shoulder. And then it goes down. The left hand touches your right shoulder. And then you go down. Keep tapping and realize how your body shifts quite a lot from one side to the other with this. Also, you tend to either lean back or lean forward. Can you keep your hips perfectly above your knees and your ribs closed, but your heart pushing forward, your neck long? Good, we've gone through all this trouble to get into this position. We might as well do enough to change you. So keep shoving the shins into the floor and alternate the tapping. Pressing the feet down helps knit your abs together. And one more. And then you're going to keep both hands on the ground and feel that you can drop the spine between the blades if your arms remain straight and you allow your spine to drop but your shoulder blades squeeze together. And then you press into the floor, lifting the spine to come up and separate the blades. And then allow the spine to go down, but do not bend in the elbows. So keeping the arms straight, squeezing the shoulder blades together, almost like you're allowing this arm bone to get to the back of the joint. And then lift the chest, rounding the upper back and come back down again. Repeat that process. And so you're learning that the shoulder blades can live either completely together on the back or very wide, and being able to move those blades around when you want them to be in different positions is good for different movements of overhead movements or stabilizing movements, and just kind of highlighting that movement there is possible because that is a joint. The blade on the rib cage is a joint. It's a floating joint. And all those muscles that attach to the shoulder blade, there are 13 muscles, keep going, that attach to this blade. And they're all vying for the blade to be in their corner. So they're pulling around or pulling down or pulling up. And that's why there's a lot of tension around the shoulders. And that pain can go up into your neck because there are 13 muscles that all trying to have their piece of this little shoulder blade pie. And I've explained it a couple of times before in a class setting where let's rock your bum back onto your heels and reach your arms forward, feeling that the blades have moved and are now living really wide, reaching your fingertips forward, pulling the shoulder blades down and wide so that there's space between the actual shoulder and the ear. So you opening yourself up and you breathing into your back. I've explained it before, so some of you might be familiar with it. And you can imagine the blade like as if it's a carcass, and all 13 muscles are like a pack of hyenas, and each one is just trying to pull that carcass to its corner. And so there's this constant battle. And then because of the nature of our lifestyle and lives and our postures and seated postures and what we choose to do for sedentary movements. Take your hands over to the right. So you're going to move your hands off your mat to the right. Some muscles are, and both hands go right, mommy. Thank you. Reach. Some muscles land up being tighter and more dominant than the others, so the balance is off. Keep reaching those hands over to the right hand side of your mat, thereby stretching the whole left side of your body. You'll feel that the back is getting a stretch. By the ribs there's a stretch in the lats, and on the insertion of the lats into the shoulder. If you inhale into the side body, the stretch is deepened. If you drop the shoulder down, the stretch might be deepened. If you lift the shoulder up, it might also be deeper. So you fiddle and fap here and find what feels the most valuable, and then reach further with that left hand and breathe again. You know, often the lower trapezius and the serratus anterior are the muscles that are weakest, which land up, which means that the shoulder blade will hike up into your shoulders. So your upper trapezius will be tight. Walk your hands over to the left hand side. And so keep reaching. We start with just showing the brain that the blade can be in more than one place. Reach the fingers a little further and the head a little further. Pull the bum back. And continue to rock either by lifting the armpit up or down. Get your head long and loose, because that's also, these muscles in your neck are forming part of the problem. They jacked. Inhale, that's your solution. The breath into your belly, as opposed to all the other muscles that live around the collarbones and the upper rib cage and in between the ribs. Those are all accessory breathing muscles, and when we rely on the accessory ones more than the diaphragm, we get dysfunction. So you want to focus on diaphragmatic breathing and then come back to the center. And so you'll lie down on your stomach now for the final movements. And I want your arms in that W position again, please. So get your head down and get your hands off your mat. There. Now your legs are together and you're going to hover your head just a little off the floor. But you don't need to go very high. You will pull your shoulders down your back so that you're activating all the anchoring muscles around the blade, and then see if you can lift your forearms up off the floor and down, and see if you can lift them off the floor and down. Now you'll notice that it's easy to lift the elbow and hard to lift the hand. Can you try lift the wrist and the hand and then down? But we tend to lift it with the wrong end of the muscle. So you don't want to lift it by hiking your shoulder into your ear. You still want to pull the blades down your back. And in the beginning, keep going. Doing this work, you're probably bullying yourself. You're probably trying to, at all costs, just get it up. Okay? You need to rather hone in on the right lower trapezius, so lower on your mid-back, and get the angle correct in your wrist and your elbow, and just focus on getting that firing pattern correct, as opposed to going helter-skelter. So you'll lift the wrist and drop the elbows for me. Yes, I can feel them turn on when you get into that position. So it's okay to get a little bit of air and then try correct. Lift the wrist, drop the elbow, more wrist on the side, and then come down. And then notice how when you're doing it, you're actually pulling your hands into your face instead of being in your W. So go back into your W, everybody. Drop your elbow. And then rest. Come down. And go one more time. And just be aware, why are your biceps working so hard to pull the hand towards your head? And down. Well done. You can push back into your rest position just so you can have a moment here, and if you are in the company of others, maybe they can help. Use your spiky ball massage roller and roll the back. Always feels nice after having been on your tummy. And then make your way onto your back to breathe. And we're going to attempt to let all tension go. Lie down. Make sure your head's on the mat. Relax your arms. Relax your legs. You can have them straight or bent, whatever your body's seeking today. Inhale through the nose and exhale through your mouth. Try find a little bit of space in the neck, melting those shoulder blades down into the mat, feeling as you inhale into your tummy, you're learning to turn off the accessory muscles around the blade. They're around the blades, but they're also on the ribs in the front of your body. And I think it's quite valuable to actually work those attachment sites. So I'm going to get you to take your hands and place your fingers underneath your collarbones. So take your fingers under your collarbones and start to rub across and over or along the fascial attachments on the ribs and under the collarbone, and dig in there and go wide or go narrow, but just feel if there's any tightness. If you can dig your fingers into that tightness and kind of clean it up so it's on the chest. Digging in here. Make your way wide towards the armpits, towards the shoulder, and then lower your hands to your sides and take a deep breath in through your nose. Sigh it out. Another one in. And as you breathe out, let all your tension go. Well done. Thank you, Mommy.